underground bridge is notoriously hard to break into unless you go back around behind. Pretty easy defense here, so let's see what happens. I see a push or two getting knocked down before they finally break in, to be honest with you.
Like little eggs of death.
All right, back on the air, back live. Not must. A first push by MVP looked like it kind of fizzled out right there, and hopefully the quality looks better. Otherwise, the backup stream will be coming up eventually. Other than that, we'll keep this going for here and focus on the gameplay. And a fun thing about this entire push is that you're going to see with Bridge, it's going to be between mixing up high ground and low ground pushes. That's going to be Bridge in the offices, pushing down that street and killing the people on red, or some kind of combination of tunnel pushes with ramp. There's a lot of different openers that teams can use to try to secure the lead here. And I think Bridge first is another example of like exceptionally hard first objectives, because you could spend 15 minutes here and never make any progress. And it all depends on what you can make work.
Absolutely. You know, when you're on attacking on the stage, I always like to tell my teammates, don't go left. Left is a death sentence. They come down to that one little doorway right there that we saw that spawn nade coming through, and it's just such a bottleneck. It's really easy to defend that right side. So if you're on defenders, the right side, attacker, left side, don't take that pathway. You're gonna get murder faced.
You can take whatever. I would say that you can still take whatever side you want. You just have to make sure that it fits into the push in general. Like Titan here. Where's he going? Going big for a spawn nade. Misses the nade. He's over by Bridge. Gets flanked, but gets a gip on the enemy fragger. Trade for trade. Not exactly how you want that fight to break down.
Now, he was definitely pushing up a bit there. That's a pretty nice spawn nade spot, but pretty risky.
Not getting any of the momentum that we need. And the thing with MVP here is they're kind of getting split spawned a lot. You'll see one player die early before the fight. Looks like VLAN gets dropped, but they're trying to move towards the EV. Fragger's in position, but just can't get the cleanups.
That was a good res. That was a good res coming in to trying to get around back here. No, he goes down and get pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's just wave after wave of being down a player at the start of every fight. They do eventually equalize their kills, but because you lose that player early, it already kind of gives your defenders a heads up on, all right, I can be a little bit more bold and I can take a few more risks until I get trades. And that's kind of what happens in this fight. We're still slowly in the favor of Tag in this entire push. People moving towards the EV, kind of trying to swing in, but they get surrounded. Red van pushing
We've got
out.
bodies down on both sides. That was an unfortunate trade. They're still holding the D pretty strong. I really appreciate the design of these walls around the EV, how they have this kind of this angular thing going on. There's always a corner to hide around, always a teammate to see, you know. You can hide a med station right around any one of these particular corners and just retreat back a couple feet and have a new set of cover.
That bridge push opening. Looks like nobody's in position to stop it, so they immediately take up. They have the high ground. Hard thing is can they make work off of it? Suppressing that red van, looking for their push. Are they going to jump off or are they going to go down the tunnel? That's kind of a big choice here.
I think a key move right now would be go straight off, straight down that street and wrap around that red van.
Oh, but it looks like they're going to go straight in.
They're going to go mid
themselves
with
into a big crossfire. Turret shooting at them. Everybody's crossing them. And I just don't think that was executed the best way.
No, crossfire is the word of the day right there, man. They really needed to stay as a unit and wrap around that backside so they can't get flanked. They're getting hit from left, center, and right there.
They're going to really have to think about their attacks here because we've gone down 5 minutes and nobody's touched that EV. It's going to come down to them seeing their mistakes in these plays, and during a match that can be really hard to figure out. But there's a big pick at the start. Titan dropped down. Not Gib though, but will be revived. Does give them a little bit of space to work with while he's out of the fight. Talgo trying to do some work with the sticky bombs. Takes out the turret. 6-man. Kind of starting to push towards the EV.
They're
There's
getting
a round
that mid
happening. They get the defenders, but the big bomb comes out. And it just kind of fizzles out.
I want to see MXP a bit more aggressive. It seems MVP is always missing their fragger when they push. Because he plays
It's
so
funny
scared
that you say that
when he
because
plays.
every time I see Kana, I feel like that's where the fragger should be. He should be doing the plays that Kana's doing. And just as you said that, he goes straight into the tunnel. And now he's onto the EV. No Gibbs yet though. They gotta watch out for that. Bonds
Oh, they
can
got
crop
2 down
up.
on the enemy. They're gonna touch that EV now. They're gonna make their mark on it. Enemy defenders coming in right now. The whole spawn wave coming out hard.
Question is, where's the NG?
Where is the enemy?
Just arrived and he got instantly killed by Specular.
Too little,
Touched
too
it
late.
for like
They have
1
resecured.
millisecond.
I think they just weren't ready to receive that push yet. If they had been a little bit more forward or won their fight sooner, they could have tried to get a small spawn camp going and given their NG a lot more space to work with. But without being prepared for that push, I mean, they just come in, surround you, and you lose another fight to the defense with a 1% tap on the EV. Here we go again. Offense coming in. MXP first to drop out of the fight, gets gibbed. And he loses his medic on the back of that. Kana also going down, and immediately his medic tries to save, and he gets blown up by his own friendly's grenade.
What are your thoughts on team fire? You know, is this something that the teams are ready for? And is practice going to make a big difference in not shooting your teammate in the back?
Well, most of these teams have MXP, well, I should say MVP and Tag both have been playing for quite some time. MVP's been together since the Invite Cup, which is about 5 weeks ago now. So everybody at this point is pretty used to that team fire. The hard thing is when you're nader and you die while you're firing grenades, they can have a bug where they drop out more grenades. So it's really hard to revive them sometimes if they're in the process of shooting bombs. Sometimes they do it intentionally where you can make like a super death bomb instead of just one little grenade. Extension, MXP.
You know, what I'd really like to see is them really get some flank and some crossfire going. Just when you're pushing that left pathway into that left doorway, it's just so concentrated. You walk out into so many potential areas of fire, and yet you and all your teammates are coming through one little area. And even though they're splitting it between mid
There's
and left
the opening
here,
they want.
there
The
it
fragger
is.
gets dropped at the start, and they've killed two. Two of the defenders are down. This could be that push that we were looking for. You see what happened? There's the fragger overextended. He gets dropped early. They're all on launch
They're gonna
spawn, and
build
this
it.
could be that plant. That's
They've got that EV now.
We have
they've
Kana
got-
in position. MXP. Look how aggressive he is, but
They got a
Tag,
great forward hold right now. So forward.
Tag being really disciplined there to actually know, all right, we screwed up. Defend the next objective. A lot of
Absolutely.
teams try to recover there, but it just breaks down to do you have the time to save? Can you make the recovery in time? And they chose right. They really didn't, and now they have a pretty comfortable defensive setup.
Yeah, getting that room secured is first priority. You know, if they manage to get that room on offense, they can just coast the EV the rest of the way in.
Look at that alley push, trying to go straight into 3 defenders and just walking into a super crossfire. What you're probably going to see here is MVP slowly pushing that EV up and then working on detonating it with probably Kana. You see him trying to fire the bombs in to manually destroy the generator.
It's actually a pretty legit strat, not gonna lie. It goes down quicker than you may think when you have a handful of teammates firing at it.
Actually, just one guy, a nader, can take it out in under 50 seconds. So as long as you have a full set and you fire your push full set at it, you can end up finishing it before a standard C4 would be detonated.
EV is disabled, probably about 10 feet from where it would stall out naturally. Looks like they're gonna go ahead and get it up repaired. I wonder if he's gonna try and push it the rest of the way to the barrier, or leave it there and try and focus on the room for now.
You know, what usually what a smart team's gonna do is they want to push it all the way up, because if you don't finish your push, it'll they detonate it here and you blow up the wall, they can just repair it. Until that EV gets parked on those little lights right there, it's just not gonna give you the ability to secure it, which is why they're going to immediately repair. And look at this left side pressure.
Titan,
Oh, they
just
went
1v3. That K121 in a little hallway. Such a beast.
A real hot play that I saw was Bushwhacker repairs the EV up to about 90%. They take over the room, he finishes it off, rolls right through. A really shitty play I saw. We secured the generator room here. Not an engineer on the team. We were so focused on taking that room. No engineer on the team. Someone goes to slow repair, airstrike. Eventually, long story short, barricade got built again.
Yeah, and that's just what happens when it doesn't get parked. So now they have to detonate it twice, but they do have the Fletcher Nader combo. 3 bombs of the Fletcher takes it down 30%.
Fletcher and Phoenix are down in the room. Gibb. Pretty solid hold here.
Gonna be
The
really
good news
tough.
is that they're finally pushed all the way up. So now they can actually detonate the objective and not worry about it being repaired. And you can see Kana right there. Grenade after grenade going after it. And there it goes. Wall
There it
falls
is.
down.
It's down. They got to get that repair before they can build it up. Bushwhacker going in to repair that generator right now. He pauses for a firefight and gets taken out.
I believe that he can't repair from here. There is no more repairing once it gets pushed all the way up to the little barricade here. So that's why you're going to see a lot of the guys work on just repairing and securing your engineer now.
Fell on
Oh,
instigate the engineer, sniper.
pretty terrifying. Velan is probably one of the best
One
snipers
left.
in the game.
Lightning goes down. Phoenix manages to survive there. But he's got a handful of people looking at him. They want his head.
And the NG's insta-gipped again. Titan nade again.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole setup here is just defend the EV. You're going to see that the defense is mostly focusing on, you can't let them repair now. The longer you hold them off the repair, the longer they stay on the, this back end spawn.
Getting that spawn moved up is going to be a key thing, and if they can't move that EV, it's not going to happen. All in the
Oh, the
alleyway.
alley, yeah.
I'm going to put all my eggs in that
Reload.
one backseat. The heals are coming out there. They're making it work. Oh. 1 Gib, 2 Gib.
The hardest thing
That's
about
another
alley is
push
you just
down.
set yourself up for like spam and like you can just get shut down really easily. Like look at Titan, he's looking for these spawn grenades, which is usually where you throw them through down the alley. And with this hell station, he's nearly invincible. It does go down, but the defenders still have a numerical advantage here on just their positioning.
Absolutely.
Look at this
You know,
lightning. Looking for the long
mid right
spawn.
now is essentially the road, so you really, it's 2 points. You've got 2 bottlenecks at this objective. It's rather difficult on attack.
And Toph gets killed by his own sticky again.
Yeah, and we're down to only about 60 seconds left. And I think this is probably going to be the stake in the grave here. There's no way you can really push that far when an
But
airstrike's
we've
up by
been-
lightning.
We've been seeing this for the last couple of weeks now, I think, where getting that barrier down tends to be really easy because teams get the hang of that, like Nader spamming it, but then actually building the EV seems to take more time. Because it's so much easier to just kill the NG every wave. I don't understand why MVP doesn't take out a second NG. Just,
Now this is
just
what
to
I want
avoid
to see.
an
They're
insta
taking that left side over, pushing through that left side house. That's what I would do at this point. But they're not gonna repair. What are they doing? Just they know it's the end of the game, maybe.
Lots of splash damage from XP's nade. But they're too late now, though. It's already over.
Yeah, with only 30 seconds left, they'll get past. Well, as long as
They can get
pass
overtime
this,
till
they
the end
can.
of the bridge, but
Oh, yeah. Well, this does get them the second spawn, so in order for Tag to win, they actually have to destroy the barricade and push it past. So that is a small victory there.
It's moving.
Unless they can keep this moving for the next minute and a half.
well, they
but
get
there is an
overtime while
airstrike up.
moving it. As long as they move it, it counts as progress for them. So
But there's
they
no
should
one
just
on it
be
now.
all
and
on the
that's
EV
timer.
and just drive as far as you can.
Yeah, every inch that they would get there on the EV is technically progress over, like greater than a tie as far as that map is concerned on stopwatch. So
Looking at that post game, you really see the engineer and Koji and the medic struggle. While it looks like Tag is kind of just bullying this entire map around. on their individual play, which is just kind of, I think it's one step above where MVP is. I mean, they picked up Titan, who was a hard competitor in INI, another top 4 team from the Dirty Cup days. And Veland's always been on a pretty strong team. He used to play for E-Star, and then they grouped up. Lightning, kind of the bread and butter of tag. And Specula, and I think Medixa. I think they are all original tag members too, who tag was always a really strong team. So with these new additions to their lineup, they're controlling this a lot more than I guess I'm used to. Here we go. First push starting in the second half. All they have to do is repair that EV and push it past the halfway point. Can MVP hold on to this?
They're gonna have to get that barrier down too, though, which can be a real hang-up.
Yeah, but look at this. Tight, already big opening frag, gets the immediate kip. Veland, bull rushing towards the objective, gets the small flank, takes out Kana. Not even enough time to get his martyrdom off.
2v2.
Now they control the EV. Can Veland stay up? Looks like he's not, and that's a botched first play.
Do you
And the
know,
fragger's still up.
A lot of trading going back and forth at the end of the day.
Bitey, do you know who Blasted is? Is it a new player or is that Undead with a new name? Because I think he plays with MVP sometimes.
I don't know who he is. I'm assuming he's a new pickup. Because
level
I don't
27,
remember his
so he's
name,
not
or
new
we
in the
haven't
game.
trimmed them enough to remember it. But Kana getting a nice flank here. Didn't get the gift though. It looks like they do tap out. One of the defenders though drops on long spawn. Veland goes out at the same time. You've got a 4 versus 3. Or 4 versus 2.
I was watching 2 different fights in 2 different areas of the map at the same time there, over on office and on left. Looks like they're taking control of mid right now. Can they turn it into an EV repair though?
I think they will. Kojing the last one up. And he's put on the long, and now they have EV control. And with a nader and fragger up, that's just a spawn camp disaster waiting to happen.
I really hope to God they don't try and push up that alley, because they got 2 people looking at it with explosives right now.
Look at this, here's Veland hopping onto the EV, but did not realize that MXP had slipped behind.
Get knifed in a tournament.
Tap out. I mean, he's giving them a lot of space. I feel like eventually they're going to have to elect to fall back here. They're running into a defended position. Trying to get out of that alley, pushing up the back. Looking for a
Sparks
way
kind
in.
of by herself. Hope she doesn't get picked. Oh, she did the smart thing and backed
Veland's
up.
jumping onto the EV.
I want to see that repair come in. Let's see it.
I mean, he does get the 25%, but the defenders are just a little bit close to the front for him to just safely repair. But any little bit helps, and they know they've got the clock on their side.
And the last attacker goes down.
It's just they're not securing that EV as best as they could. I mean, they're doing a great job. They've gotten in almost the last 3 pushes in a row. But it's just trying to get Veland in so they don't have to spend so long on holding the back lane.
Spawn nade's coming in real hard on attacker right side. We got a
Kana is
Gib.
really strong there.
We got 2 Gibbs. Cancel that. That was just a down. He got a real quick res up. Upstairs of office being occupied right now, getting contested. Looks like Fragger's going for the stairs. They're gonna try and make their way down.
User joined your channel.
They've got office. They've got left. Let's see if they can turn it into some crossfire and capitalize.
Pixel Twitch walking in here. You gonna be joining us in this wonderful match?
I will be doing soon. I'm just going to get set up and see if I can get into the server. I don't know if there's any slots available currently, so I'm going to have a look into that. But yeah, I'll be here in a minute.
So, kind of a funny turnaround here is that Tag is losing a bit of their momentum. I think that's 2 plays in a row. They kind of botched up. Medixa, the only one left, 2v1 fight, and he gets dropped. So they did make it into the EV quite a few times, but now I think they just need to take their time and slowly push that EV down again. Because they had the key before, but I think they forgot where they put it. Here again.
Looks like
Bridge
we've got a lot
push.
of people going bridge. Yep.
Lightning still covering the tunnel. Probably going to look for crossfires when his team decides to push. MXP extended really far,
Real far. He's down.
and that could be a crucial mistake. I think that's their opening. That's the fragger off
That's
the
their
fight.
opening right there. Let's see if they can swing behind. They are. They're behind Red Van right now. They're pushing in. 2 down on MVP side.
And that looks like it's going to be, well, Koji,
Uh-oh.
can he get the final cleanup?
Kojin's still up on the
Yeah.
station.
And 1 man stands.
I can't really identify where Tag is making their mistake here on these pushes, because they're getting in, but they're just not winning that final little fight.
Kojin is playing out of his mind. Every time I see him, he's just like killing everything. He never dies. Sure, but scoreboard doesn't really show it, but he's really doing well in the green area with that bushwhacker.
I mean, we're about halfway towards the point of when MVP finally got the repair. Veland gets dropped, but he does finally get the squad back.
Oh, he got
and
res.
Coach King make the save, and that
He's
looks
getting the
like that's-
repair right now.
Should
It's
have it
halfway.
now.
50%,
is your
60%,
objective.
75%. EV repaired.
And good spawns as well. Tag can push all the way up.
Look at Titan going all the way up, gonna get this big old grenade. Can he make the big one? The big
Let's
one.
see it.
The
He
big
got one.
splash.
Got a lot of damage out though. Yeah.
A ton of damage. He put Twitch at, he put MXP at about 25% there.
Tune for the back break.
Look at this. It's kind of a methodical cleanup there. They tried to defend an EV repair that was probably looking grim, or they just died at bad times, and now there's a good chance that they'll never be able to actually stop this EV. Titan's in position again. Spencer grenade doesn't get anything. The lightning's still in the spot.
Yeah, they got
Neither
2 left,
their
2
root
right,
hold.
and 1 on the EV. Pretty solid hold right now. Although they're making a real strong defense is making a pretty strong right push. Oh, they retreated. They went back. They're gonna leave that generator room. If I was them, that's the one and only hope to win this game right now is get that generator built, stall that EV.
This is a good game.
Yeah, and
Oh,
well, you gotta get in a few more pixels before you're done with this match. But I don't think they can actually build the wall now. It's out of time in any second. Any second.
Any second.
Just a minute. Hold on a minute. All right. there we go.
Almost.
Few more inches. All right, park it. We're good. Let's go home. We don't need the drugs. We're done.
We don't need the DNA samples. Just leave.
You can't park here. This isn't a valid parking zone, hey.
And that's it. I mean, it was a pretty good matchup. I think Tag showed a little bit of wavering on their pushes, but, 5 minutes in, eventually gets it, pushes it all the way up, and then they just control the rest of the map.
They did.
That's
Once they broke through on that first objective, they had such a forward hold that I think they caught MVP a little off guard, honestly, with that spawn nade coming out. They weren't expecting them to be quite up, so pushed up.
All about that momentum.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go downstairs.